In 2022, form lighting was born, and is it any good? In this video, we're gonna find out. It's supposed to be a entry-level headlight housing, entry-level side markers and taillights. I want to truly find out if this is good to install on your vehicle or not. All right. This is for a Sierra, but the internals, the LED tech is gonna be very similar to other products that you buy. And it seems like every single day they come out with a new one for a Tundra or a Bronco or whatever else. This is for a Sierra. Let's just use this as the benchmark for now. I'm gonna open it up. It's well packaged. That's a start. That's better than some headlight housings that I've actually installed before. They're usually broken when they come from China. Side note, this is a American-based company, but I'm not gonna lie, the side of the boxes here all say made in China. I'm not gonna say anything more about that, I just wanted to point it out. Ooh. So I got them both out of the box, and then they do have some wiring included. It's not a lot of wiring. I see 2 adapters here, and then a DRL harness to make the daytime running lights work. That's a good start. From this angle, I see a little UV resistant coating on here. That's a sign that it's going to last a while. And these headlights do have a 2-year warranty. I think everything on their website has a 2-year warranty. I don't know about the side markers, but the headlights and taillights, a 2-year warranty. So that's a good start. This right here, so far, looks pretty dang good. It's all blacked out on the inside here, and I see 3 projectors. This has the potential to be a very good product. When I tell you how much this is today, it's gonna be different tomorrow. I think this is around $1,200. I've seen all of their stuff around $800 to $1,200 on their website. It's gonna change, and I don't want you guys to call it out in the video and be like, oh, you said it this way. It's gonna change. It's still a good price point. I see more expensive headlight housings out there. It is still a top tier price point from my opinion. The back side here is also completely covered. You have an adjustment area right here so you can still raise and lower these projectors to give you a proper beam pattern where you're not blinding oncoming drivers. So I got these headlights hooked up to a power supply. Again, if you don't have a GMC, it doesn't matter. It's very similar. A lot of the features from form lighting carry over from one headlight to another, like I said. Newer or more expensive headlight housings usually have a startup feature. It does nothing for performance, but it is pretty cool. Let me show you that now. As you can see here, it's dancing around the outside. So when you start your vehicle or probably unlock your vehicle, it's gonna dance and then it's gonna hold solid on this right here, which is a daytime running light. If you don't have a daytime running light, are you even cool? This is an amber daytime running light. You cannot switch between. So Morimoto switches between an amber and a white with some keys on the backside of their newer headlights. You don't get that, but also it's not as expensive as them. It's also got a true daytime running light, so they didn't skimp out there, which means that when you're driving around at nighttime, this daytime running light or DRL is going to dim down. As you can see here, got your headlights on, it dims down. It's hard to see, but it is there. Now, the way that the light is emitted on this headlight housing, there's some different, I'm gonna show you in just a second, is from a projector housing, a projector-based housing. It's not a reflector, it doesn't have mirrors, it's like this. There's 2 of them right here. Both of these 2 produce that crispy white cutoff, and it's a low beam pattern. There is a dedicated projector right here specifically designed for high beam. So they know what they're doing. They've been in the industry for a long time. This is a Dow Dynamics product, but they're calling it the form line. I don't know if that was supposed to be said. I don't know if it's a secret. I think they're pretty open about it. Dow Dynamics knows what they're doing when it comes to lighting, and they did a really good job with this headlight housing. It has all of the features that I want. They even have a sequential turn signal, if I can find it here. There we go. As you can see, we've got a sequential turn signal, so it's scrolling. It's not utilizing the daytime running light for this sequential turn signal, which I am kind of bummed out about. I wish that they used the daytime running light for that because it's more dramatic. The last thing to note is that it's completely smoked out. I'm not seeing any like amber side markers or amber in the sides here. So far, I have no reason not to recommend the form lighting to you guys. Now, what about a reflector-based housing? So I did have a Toyota headlight over here. Let me show you that really quick. The Toyota headlight has a reflector or a projector option. I gotta get some, gotta get some arm workouts. You know, the guys at Dow Dynamics have a whole gym in their studio area. Now, when I was looking up other headlights, I saw the Tundra headlights had a reflector version, like you see here. and a projector version. Now, if this was me, I would take the projector version all day long. It was like $100 difference. This is what the Reflector looks like. Now, inside, it is pretty dark. It's not a super bright, chromed out headlight. I think it looks pretty good. Inside, it's a bunch of mirrors, and it shoots the light down and then projects off of those mirrors and then provides that beam pattern. I'm gonna show you the difference in beam patterns between the projector and the Reflector, just so you can make an informed decision when you're purchasing. But essentially, they both produce a pretty good beam pattern. The functions are a little bit different. So you have your parking light over here, and then you got your daytime running light. This is turn signal. As you can see, this is a full sequential turn signal that does utilize that daytime running light. Remember on that Sierra headlight, I didn't like that because it was just a small one and it wasn't the whole DRL. This one's the whole DRL. This is really what I want to look for in a turn signal. This is the daytime running light on, and then low beam is right here. As you can see, that's that reflector base housing there. And then you've also got high beam as well, right there. So your high beam's on the center of this headlight housing. Again, remember, it's all about the same when it comes to features. Here's your projector version. Let me turn that one on really quick to show you. To me, I think you're gonna get a better beam pattern. I'm gonna show you guys that in just a second. But as you can see, there's only one projector in here. You know, before there was multiple projectors and then a dedicated high beam projector. If you only see one projector in the form headlight housing, it's probably because it's a bi-LED projector, which means that it does both low beam and high beam. As you can see, I'm switching between low beam, that's high beam, low beam, high beam. You get the idea. You still got a daytime running light, and your turn signal is the full daytime running light. So it's that full, beautiful looking turn signal. Both of these are a really good option. Again, it's only like $100 difference at the time of this video. So I would personally get this one over this one. But if you like the look of the Reflector housing, maybe that's right for you. Because I assumed, even off the bat without seeing it, that the Reflector was not gonna be nearly as good as the projector here. And it's a fact. Look at the wall. So I got the one on top here, as you can see. That's the Reflector on low beam. And here's the projector headlight on low beam. Which one would you rather drive with? Duh, it's a no-brainer. And then here's high beam for you guys. Even high beam. I thought maybe the Reflector's high beam was gonna be better, but this projector, this bi-LED projector, is pretty intense. I would say high beam is really, really good. Of course, this is just one headlight. You're gonna have twice this much light output when you're driving down the road. If this was me and my dollar, 100% get the projector over the Reflector. Let me weatherman this thing for you really quick. So this is the projector housing, and as you can see, the cutoff line is so much better. This is natural, this is normal for a projector to have a much better cutoff line. Cutoff, which means it's no longer shooting light right here. If you have the light way up here, you're blinding oncoming drivers. That's what this dip is. You don't want to blind oncoming drivers when you then raise this up to where it needs to be to put the light down the road. As you can see up there, it is not very consistent. It is not a sharp cutoff line. It's not a perfect light output. I have seen brighter light outputs, and I've also seen much wider light outputs. There's also some chromatic aberration, which essentially this discoloring over here, it just means that the projector wasn't utilizing its full potential. I think they could have dialed it in a little bit better to give you more light output and a little bit more consistency. Now, what about taillights? I'm pretty sure I got a smoked version and a red version here. Let me show you the difference. Now these are for the newer Tundra, and we haven't had a lot of taillights that even came out for the newer Tundra on this channel. I've never reviewed the taillights, but essentially they look like this. This would be a red version, and this is their smoked light. And in my opinion, I like the smoked light. On our channel at headlightrevolution.com, we sell way more smoked LED taillights than we do red. Smoked is always more popular, but maybe you have a truck that clashes with the smoked look. I think it's 100% a preference base. I'm gonna power these up and see if they're both the same brightness and then go from there. Both of these taillights have a 2-year warranty. This one's upside down. Both of them have a 2-year warranty, and so does all the other ones that you see on there, but I didn't see a lot of different taillights on the website. Now, I think they're gonna come out with more. I do know actually they're coming out with a lot more. We're covering this. If you do see it on their website, you will see it on our website, headlightrevolution.com. Let me power these babies up really quick. So I have them sort of powered up with the power supply. This is the parking light mode, so it's not very bright. I can't get brake to work without putting this on the truck, and I can't get the startup feature. That's one thing that a lot of taillight manufacturers are not doing, but they're slowly incorporating it into it, is a startup feature on the taillight. That is so cool. I want a startup feature on my taillight. However, when they say that this is a pricing entry level, again, this is what, $700? In my opinion, that's a little steep. So it's really not an entry-level price point, but I still think it has a lot of cool features. There's reverse lights down here at the bottom on both of them. And as you'll see, this one again is the smoke. This one is the red version. I want to see if the reverse light is affected by that smoke on the front. On the table here, it's probably hard for you to see. This one does look a little bit brighter. Let me just show you on the wall really quick. And that might be your decision maker, or you can just get like a backup light boost bar or some additional reverse light if you're concerned about that. If you're a true lighting nerd, or you own this brand, or you're our electrical engineer, or something of that matter, look away, because I'm going to use a digital lux meter and have this table pushed way too close to the wall, and it doesn't make sense, but in my mind it does, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna measure the brightness of the smoke version and then compare it to the red version to see if that smoke or that tint has an effect on your reverse light output. Right off the bat, from what I can see without even doing this, yes, it does. And I think that's very helpful buyer's advice, no matter how unscientific it is. So let me show you, as you can see on the wall, this is the smoked version. I'm really stinking close to this wall, and it is not very bright in person. I'm finding the brightest point on the wall, and that's gonna be my benchmark here with this digital lux meter. I got 6.8 lux. So let me turn on this other one here. There we are. And turn that one off. I can already tell, it's much brighter. Let's try this one. Look, I think that settles it. If you want the red version, you're gonna get much more brightness. I measured 13.83 maximum lux. This is not scientific. I probably could get a lot of different numbers here, but every time that I do it, it's much brighter. Almost twice as bright as the smoked version. Now, that might be your deciding factor between the smoked and the red. Maybe both of them will look good on the back end of your Tundra or whatever vehicle that you get. Just keep that in mind, that their smoked area is also smoked over the reverse light output. I think that's helpful buyer's advice. What do you guys think? Is that fine? Somebody's gonna have a problem with that light output. Same situation for the Jeep taillights as well. If you want a brighter reverse light, get the red version, not the smoked version. It is a pretty big difference. As you can see, as I play with them back and forth, the brighter version is the red version. The smoked version, I measured 3.55 lux. It's not very bright at all, guys. Again, you might want some supplemental light when you're reversing if you install these taillights. Still, build quality's there. Brightness is not there. I measured 6.9 maximum lux, so at the brightest point, it was about double comparing the red version versus the smoked version. Now, of course, I had to include Jeep owners and Jeep taillights. This is something that's super cool, the startup feature. Everybody wants a startup feature, especially Jeep owners. Now, it does have also a really cool inside here where it looks almost like an infinity look. That is amazing, but it doesn't have an RGB feature, which is okay. I think RGB taillights are a little bit gimmicky, but I did go to a lot of Jeep events back in the day, and everything was RGB. Every single thing you can think of was color changing, and it's cool to some, but this I think is much more mature. It's much more easier to look at, in my opinion, and it's a little bit more street legal. So here's your brake light feature, and this is what the reverse light looks like. You got LEDs down here and up here. Well built. I think it did a good job. I think the price point's right there. Alpha X is more expensive than this, and they're a very good product. But Amazon products, you can get those for like $100. These were like $300 and some dollars. Alpha X and other taillights are $500 to $600 to $700 for probably the best performing taillights out there. Again, it really doesn't matter for performance. You're getting style points here. If you like the look of it, I would recommend getting this. After all of that, without long-term testing, I think it's a very good product. A 2-year warranty, I think I would have liked a little bit more. They do seem pretty well built to afford a 5-year warranty. I think they prioritize the build quality a little bit better than the price because, let's be honest, they're still pretty expensive. However, they are a good product. Most of them are fully LED. They all seem to be well built. They're very solid. They were packaged in really good packaging, so when it arrives at your doorstep, it's not going to get broken. I think if there's a $100 difference between a Projector and Reflector, go the Projector route. I think the light output looks a little bit better. We only put stuff on our website if we think that we would recommend this for your vehicle. If you have any questions, put them in the description of this video below. We're gonna answer every single one of them. And of course, make sure you get the right product for your vehicle by simply typing in your year, make, and model. We'll see you guys at Headlight Revolution.